Pag-asa warns that extreme rainfall is possible even amid the El Nino that is threatening to hit the country in just a few months. Airlines are thinking of ways to prevent flight cancellations ahead of the 6-hour airspace shutdown on May 17. And Pinoy athletes are buckling down to intense last-minute work in the countdown to the 32nd Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. Pag-asa warns that the country could experience more rainfall even during El Nino. Pag-asa's designated El Nino spokesperson, Annalisa Solis, told One News Now that this is what they call a seasonal reversal of El Nino rainfall. During this season, more rains are expected, which could lead to floods and landslides. Solis says this is more likely to happen in Western Luzon.
El Nino doesn't always mean drought or no rains at all, so it just increases the probability of having below normal rainfall that could lead to dry spell and drought. So meaning, may ulan pa rin po tayo.
Pag-asa also warned that 2024 could go down as one of the warmest years on record if the El Nino persists until then. Recall that the State Weather Bureau raised the El Nino alert in the country as the likelihood of the dry spell arriving as soon as next month climbs to 80%.
Feel the effect of El Nino of having above normal temperature sa next dry season, which is definitely mostly during El Nino. Historically, most of our warmest years on record happens during El Nino years. So this might be one of the warmest temperature natin that we could experience maybe next year if this El Nino will linger up to next dry season.
And still on that El Nino, the National Water Resources Board has cut down the supply of water for irrigation from the Angat Dam in preparation for the next cropping season. NWRB Executive Director Sevilio David Jr. said that from May 1 to 10, the water allocation has been reduced to 10 cubic meters per second from 30 cubic meters per second. David explained that the reduction of water for irrigation will not affect the farming sector since the harvest season is near. And Muntinlupa has become the first local government to adjust the conduct of classes due to the sweltering heat. Public schools in the city have shifted back to blended learning to avoid heat-borne illnesses among students. This measure combines face-to-face and asynchronous modalities for teaching and covers students from kindergarten to senior high school. Blended learning in Muntinlupa is in effect until June 2.
May experience ang ating mga kababayan ngayon ng extreme temperature, no? High temperature sa ating climate. And hindi naman kasi lahat ng public schools natin ay equipped with air conditioning units. So it makes it uncomfortable for students.
We have more stories for you after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're back on One News now. I'm Sean Yao. Philippine Airlines says that preparations are underway for the 6-hour airspace shutdown on May 17. In an interview with Radio 5, spokesperson Shelo Villaluna explained that the shutdown will affect PAL's early morning departures and international arrivals. The airline is planning to delay affected flights with cancellation as the last option. For its part, the Manila International Airport Authority reminded airlines to give their passengers a heads up on the flight disruptions. The MIAA will be shutting down the Philippine airspace from 12 midnight to 6 a.m. on May 17 to replace the backup power supply of the country's air traffic management system, which caused the glitch on New Year's Day.
The airlines can advise the passengers the better because of these planned changes in their itinerary. What will happen there is for 6 hours, wala talagang activity sa ating airspace. But of course, CAAP is saying it could happen mas maikli, di ba? Pwedeng shorter. Pero as far as their planning is concerned, we're planning for 6 hours.
And on the corporate front, Metro Pacific Investments Corporation reported a 38% jump in core income for the first quarter of 2023. Led by business tycoon Manny V. Pangilinan, MPIC attributes the increase to strong demand for power and water. MVP also assured the public that there will be no huge difference in their operations as talks of privatization pick up. The group earlier announced that a consortium is set to issue a tender offer on publicly owned shares of the company.
So it's not at the end of the world for MPIC just because we privatized. And we're not saying that just because we privatized that we are going to stop our ambition of developing a proper infra company, albeit I'm saying that it gives us a chance to do things behind the curtain that we may not be able to do if we were public. Like the shift, the pivot towards food, the pivot towards logistics. I mean, if you do that on a public basis, we will probably get a lot of questions, criticisms, comments, etc. Diba? Why do you this? You're an infra company, why are you investing in food? We're getting that comment already. Diba? We want to dilute our regulatory nature. Diba?
And in sports, members of the Philippine gymnastics team are rolling up their sleeves ahead of the Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia. Olympian Carlos Yulo, though, will be entering the tournament nursing an ankle injury. Marty Bautista tells us more.
Countless repetition of drills, conditioning, and thrice-a-day trainings. This is what the Philippine gymnastics team went through in their one-week training camp for the 32nd Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia. Head coach Munihiro Kogimiya says the Pinoy athletes showed immense determination and dedication throughout the camp.
They have a target for the gold as a team. Then while the training, I just feel their face is so seriously and I got some impression from them. The mindset is very good.
Aside from training, the team was also evaluated weekly to get them acclimated with the high-pressure situations that they may experience in Cambodia. Amid these intense sessions, the team is on alert for Pinoy Olympian Carlos Yulo. Yulo will play in 4 events in the SEA Games where he is expected to rack up medals, parallel bars, horizontal bar, all-around, and team competition.
Tatry ko po yung best ko. Palagi po ako nakafocus sa performance ko po. Siyempre gusto ko po masaya makakuha po ng gintong medalya pero magawa ko po yung performance ko ng maayos and malaan ko po yung dismount ko ng maayos. Doon pa lang po para sa akin. Panalo na po yan.
However, the Pinoy Olympian will enter the tournament with an ankle injury. He sustained this after a wrong fall at the FIG Artistic Gymnastics World Cup Series in Egypt last week. That's why aside from form, Yulo also ensures that he will recover aptly.
Ngayon po nakakagawa na po ako ng mga skills po and ngayon nga po hindi siya sumakit. Yung medyo mabigat din po yung ginawa ko today pero na-feel ko naman po na kayang-kaya naman po.
Aside from Yulo, other members of the gymnastics squad are also ready to step up in the tournament.
pagdating ng competition, alam namin na kaya na namin yung gagawin namin kasi na-evaluate namin to na maayos, nagawa namin to na maayos.
The team has 5 days of rest before beginning their SEA Games campaign. They will fly to Cambodia tomorrow ahead of the start of the tournament on May 8. For News 5, Marty Bautista, we are One News.
One News Now will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News. All sides, all the time.